What's up, everyone? This is the Raw Truth coming back with part 2 on Congress needs to crack down on skyrocketing college tuition. But see, I had to make that point and go in depth because there's a lot of college people who can't pay it. So if they can't pay it, then they take it out on us. So everybody's going to college and you can't pay, you ought to thank that person that behind the counter of McDonald's. Y'all need to start thanking those same people that you thumb your nose down as if you got your degree and everything by yourself and you didn't because everybody helped your asses out. Then it says, since the federal government subsidizes many of these loans, the similarities to the housing crisis are eerie. Naturally, many are wondering if college is worth the investment. The majority believe otherwise, largely because so many college grads face a significant underemployment problem. Oh, dear God. What does it mean? Facing underemployment. I'll give the best examples ever. I used to work at McDonald's in when the fuck was it? 1997. No, 1993 to 1997. And me working at McDonald's from 1993 all the way to 1997, it amazes me how many people that were in college or came from college I was working next to. Oh, this exposes more. See, I get excited over this shit. I'm in a grill area making burgers next to someone who's either going to school with a bachelor degree or any sort of degree, or working next to someone who already have a degree and graduated. So they graduated, but they had to pick up a job at McDonald's because they have a whole bunch of student loans and shit. And they got to live with their parents, and they're waiting to get a job. And a lot of times, folks go in to college to study something, get a degree in, and don't even get a job in that field that they studied their asses the fuck off. It says, yet parents and students continue taking the plunge. To what end? All their lives, children are told that they can achieve the American dream, with college playing a big part in the equation. But for so many, the truth crashes down hard after graduation with massive debt and mediocre job prospects, crushing hopes and dreams, often for decades. And see, that's the big problem that I have. I want y'all to listen. You know I'm the Raw Truth. I gotta tell her how the fuck it is. Fuck the American dream. Oh, did you get fucking mad? I say fuck the American dream. Why am I saying fuck the American dream? Because America was built on a fucking nightmare. So how can a fucking dream come out of a fucking nightmare? Huh? America, I say it all the time, was never built on morals and standards and righteousness. It was never built on that. It was built on rape, robbery, and murder. And what's going on in these colleges? They're raping people of their money by having all this fucking debt. They robbing people of their money by interest fees and everything like that. And they murdered people's dreams. Can't you understand the fucking connection? In order for anybody to live an American dream, they have to be somebody else's nightmare. Well, college people who can't pay, you're the taxpayer's nightmare. You're my nightmare. Just because you want to live the American dream. American dream, my ass. Want to go out there, go to college, have the white picket fence, got yourself a wife, got yourself a husband, got yourself all these kids and shit like that, and you think you're going to have a leave it to motherfucking beaver. Leave it to motherfucking beaver life. Just to realize that you're not going to live that life. Crushing y'all for decades, because for decades it's going to take y'all, if y'all stick around and pay your fucking debt off, it's going to take y'all decades to do that shit. Then it goes something like this. Work hard to impress colleges. Get good grades. Play 3 sports per season. Pay for individual coaching. Volunteer 30 hours a week. Join 17 clubs and open a nonprofit making flip-flops for the world's poor. Graduate with a boatload of debt. Discover that you need an advanced degree, which incurs more debt. Realize that your expensive MBA landed you a job at a 1990s salary level. Get married, but no kids until you move out of the 700 square foot apartment. Spend years paying down the debt, then several more building up equity for a house. Be cash poor for years thereafter and end up having just one child despite wanting more, all while watching your marriage dangle precariously from the cliff. If you're not already divorced because of the stress trying to make ends meet. So a lot of people incurring all these debt. I mean, the number one reason why people leave each other is because of money. They think that they can get married and have both income grow so big, but both of them have debt. Both of them have debt. So because they have debt and they be making 60 or 70,000 a year, but by the time the debt is chipped away from them and all the shit that they have to pay the fuck back, both of their income may just be one mediocre income. Let's just say this: a person who never been to college or anything like that doesn't have to worry about that debt. He may be at that job making $24,000 to $25,000 a year. Hell, let's just say $30,000. Okay, he's at a job making $30,000. Okay, here we got 2 people making $60,000 a year. 60 is what? 120,000. Now each person acquires what? $36,000 in debt, or excuse me, $37,000 in debt. 37 minus 60 is what? So they're barely holding on, both incomes combined, to middle class. And they can't move in the house that they want to so bad because the debt is not allowing them. See, they have become restricted. They have become a slave to their fucking debt. That they can't live the life that they want. Here they go, open up all these clubs, nonprofit organization, do a lot of volunteer work, play sports like crazy. And if you're not going to the NBA, if you're not going to any professional sports or anything like that, you can forget it. Then it says, welcome to the generation with the dubious distinction of not doing better than their parents. And it's only getting worse as incomes are growing more slowly than the rate of tuition increases. What can be done? Here are some ideas. Number 1, and he posted 8 things that you can do. Number 1, the college tuition student debt situation, just like the nation's $20 trillion debt, is a house of cards that will mathematically certainly collapse. It's not a question of if, but when. Oh man. So they telling you this shit's going to collapse. And when this shit collapses, all hell's going to break out. Telling you it's collapsing. Because you got to understand, it may appear the money's getting bigger, but actually this, when debt is added, it makes the money inflate. And when something keeps inflating, it's like a balloon. You keep blowing it up and blowing it up and blowing it up. Pretty soon it stretches and becomes so stressful that it pops because of all the stress. And not only that, a lot more people, the stress of money and stuff, they're going to start collapsing too as well. Then he said, as the system is unsustainable. But since these problems are always pushed off to future generation, that point serves only as a hibernation or what to expect. The problem, number two, the problem lies in basic economic theory. The more something is subsidized, the more its price increases. Therefore, until a federal government gushes student loan spigot is turned down, colleges have no incentive to hold the line of tuition. And obviously, they haven't. You know what? When they talk about subsidized black women, majority of y'all that's going to these motherfucking colleges are getting subsidized. Uh-oh. And it says, since 1978, college tuition costs have risen 12-fold, more than 1,200%, compared with just 250% for food. Tuition even outpaced medical costs by a factor of 2, which is really saying something. Between 2008, that's good too, because whenever he said that, as grown more than the food increase in itself, that lets you know that this debt is just so overwhelming that folks can't eat. That's why I said at the beginning. What did the raw truth say at the beginning? At the beginning, raw truth was telling you that there's people who are in college getting all the best degrees that they can, but doing what? Eating oodles and noodles. No, the ramen noodles. And you know what? I eat those too. I think I'm going to have some tonight. Have me some beef flavor oodles and noodles. And take some of the beef stick, the beef sticks, cut them up and put them in there. Ah, man, awesome. It says between 2008 to 2010, public universities jacked up their rates an average of 15%, with some private colleges increasing even more. Time to break universities, addition to the federal by restricting how much is loaned. Point 3. Since most colleges are non-profit and thus tax exempt, the lavish endowment should lose tax-free status unless 2 provisions are met. A. Tuition costs do not increase by more than 2% per year. And B. The endowment does not grow more than 6% in a given year. If either requirement is not met for the specific year, they would pay taxes on all gains in income, thereby creating an incentive to use such funds to control costs, which them motherfuckers ain't gonna do. Everything's about money. And I guarantee you that the heads of these colleges are in some kind of boule or secret society, and who are Freemasons and stuff, and they're not going to let their brother go out without money. So you can count that the fuck out. Point 4. If colleges band together to lower tuition, it will be illegal, with administrators likely prosecuted. Time to revisit that law so the collision doesn't apply to price reduction. Without the reform, almost no school will reduce tuition for fear of being labeled inferior. Sure, applications would surge in the first year or two, but would decrease soon thereafter. How ironic. Despite our anger about college costs, we will feel that a lower price college wouldn't be up to snuff. don't believe it. Gauge people's reaction to the lowest price Mercedes or Porsche. Right or wrong, many sneer, even if they can't afford one, viewing them as a diluted, poor man's luxury car. That's a good analogy. You know, you got to understand, though, the United States of America has never been fair. You know, so how can you create a system to be fair when the government and themselves, they're not fair? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like the government putting drugs and stuff in our community, but yet telling people the dangers of drugs. You know, it's like you put drugs in the community, got people hooked on it. Now you're going to come around and say, oh, it's the danger of drugs, that we shouldn't take drugs, but yet you're reaping a bunch of money off of bringing drugs in my community. Isn't that something? I'll be back with part 3.